Sam Sulek walked onto the 2026 Arnold Classic stage, carrying something almost no rookie professional ever has. Millions of eyes, years of hype, and the belief that he might shock the division. He had the size. He had the fan base. He had already won as an amateur. Under perfect gym lighting, he often looked almost impossible to beat. Then, the results came in. 8th place. Not first, not top 3. Not even top 6. 8th, but the number itself is not the most shocking part. The real story is what happened when one of the internet's most dominant physiques stood beside elite professionals under the same lights, in the same poses, with nowhere to hide. Because Sam's debut may have exposed a brutal truth about modern bodybuilding that social media rarely shows. And if you enjoy stories that reveal what really happens behind bodybuilding's biggest moments, subscribe, because this result gets more interesting the closer you look. To understand why 8th place hit so hard, you have to understand the expectations. Sam was not entering the Arnold as an unknown rookie. He had already built one of fitness's biggest audiences. Fans had watched the bulks, the cuts, the car talks, and the brutal training sessions. Then, in 2025, he did what many doubted an influencer could do. He won the Arnold Amateur Classic Physique overall title and earned his IFP Pro card. Suddenly, the question changed. It was no longer, can Sam compete? It became, how far can he go? That question followed him to Columbus. The story looked perfect. A massive young star, and a debut on one of bodybuilding's biggest stages. But professional bodybuilding destroys expectations. The stage does not judge followers or camera angles. It judges what happens when the man beside you is just as gifted, just as prepared, and sometimes more complete. And here is the first brutal truth. Sam did not look bad. 8th place can make people imagine a disaster. It was not. Sam brought obvious size, powerful arms, dense muscle, and instant presence. He looked like he belonged. But belonging there and controlling the lineup are different things. The moment comparisons started, weaknesses became harder to ignore. Because elite bodybuilding is decided by details that disappear on a phone screen. Think about a viral gym clip. The athlete controls the pump, angle, lighting, and exact moment you see. On stage, everyone gets the same environment. Now structure, flow, separation, and transitions matter. A physique can look unbeatable alone and lose impact beside a more polished competitor. But size and conditioning were only part of the debate. After the show, one criticism became impossible to avoid: posing. Former Arnold Classic champion Victor Martinez had already questioned whether Sam's posing would hold up against elite professionals, and after the debut, that concern looked serious. At this level, simply reaching a pose is not enough. The transitions have to look natural. Every angle has to maximize shape. A small mistake can make the waist look wider, or a strong body part disappear. And when competitors around you have spent years mastering those adjustments, stiffness becomes expensive. Now here is the twist. Blaming 8th place entirely on posing would be too easy. Posing cannot erase the quality of the men standing next to you. Wesley Vissers won the division. Matthias Menegate finished second. Andrea Mamoli took third. This was not a popularity contest. It was a lineup of professional classic physique athletes fighting for one of the sport's biggest titles. Sam was not exposed as a fraud. He was exposed to a completely different level of comparison. And maybe that is what many fans misunderstood. Social media trains viewers to judge physiques in isolation. One athlete, one camera, one perfect frame. But bodybuilding is not won that way. Almost everyone on an Arnold stage looks incredible. The real question is, what happens when you stand beside the best? A huge arm is not enough if another athlete has cleaner lines. Extreme mass is not enough if another athlete creates a more complete silhouette. That is why 8th place may be more valuable than a comfortable win at an easier show. It gave Sam information hype could never provide. It showed where the gap really is: polish, presentation, and the tiny details separating a dangerous physique from a title-winning one. But there is another reason the result should worry his future rivals. This was Sam's pro debut, and he chose the Arnold Classic, one of the sport's biggest stages. He finished 8th among seasoned professionals. That may not be the death of the hype, but the first honest measurement of it. Now he knows what elite comparisons feel like, where presentation breaks down, and that looking massive online will not be enough. And that creates a more dangerous version of Sam Sulek than the one who arrived in Columbus, a version with evidence. The brutal truth is not that Sam finished 8th because he was overrated. It is that professional bodybuilding is far less forgiving than social media makes it look. Sam had size, muscle, and presence, but the Arnold demanded more. Cleaner presentation, sharper execution, better control, and the ability to win direct comparisons. So was 8th place a failure? Only if you believed hype guaranteed a trophy. In reality, the debut revealed something more valuable. Sam had already earned the right to stand there. But the Arnold proved that becoming a professional and defeating professionals are two separate mountains. He climbed the first one fast. The second may be far more brutal. And that is why this result should not end the Sam Sulek story. It should make the next chapter more interesting. Because if he improves the posing, sharpens the presentation, and learns how to dominate direct comparisons, 8th place could eventually look less like humiliation and more like the moment he discovered exactly what was missing. The real question is no longer why Sam Sulek finished 8th. The real question is what happens now that he knows why.